Yeah, we give all praises and honor and glory. First and foremost, Barakatah Yahweh. Barakatah Yahweh Shai. We give all praises and honor and glory to Yahweh. Bahasham. Yahweh Shai. Bahasham. Rakaha Kwadash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well. To the elder apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the elect, Shalom. To the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom. To you sisters, Yahwathim, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence. This your brother Ram Yahawada with the lesson. Yeah, and as you can see, I'm right here. This is BBC. Putin agreed to robust security agreement guarantees. Like here for Ukraine. Yeah, U.S. in what's it? Envoy.
Envoy.
U.S. envoy, right? It says envoy, messenger, or representative, right? Especially one on a diplomatic mission. So they basically sent their, um, you know, the puppet master sent him. Say, hey, run over there, go fetch that boy. Go do. Yeah, Trump ain't running anything. It's the elites, and this is all, most of this is all a show, and this is all really. So this is part of the Most High's movie, man. At the end of the day, man, right? This is all smoke and mirrors, whether they know it or not, right? This is Trump. This is Donald Trump, special envoy, right? Which basically means he went as a diplomat and went on a special mission to be diplomatic and to be a representative for Amalek, basically, right? Because we know that the Ukrainians are basically Amalek at the end of the day, right? And it says Russia had agreed to allow U.S. and Europe to give Ukraine robust security guarantees as part of a potential peace deal. Steve Witkoff told CNN it was agreed at the Alaska summit that the U.S. and Europe could effectively offer Article 5 like, not that it is, it's going to be like language to secure guarantee, referring to NATO's principle that an attack on one member is an attack on all. But I mean, he basically already whooped your ass. So I mean, he like, yeah, go ahead, you can give him something like that. Yeah, I just whooped all y'all asses, so it ain't a big deal. I mean, because y'all was already giving them help. There was plenty of NATO and U.S. soldiers out there helping, and they still got their ass handed to them. So Putin like, yeah, go ahead. You could have that. Putin has long opposed Ukraine joining NATO, and Wickoff said the agreement could be an alternative if Ukrainians can live with it, right? So it's like you're NATO, but you're not really NATO, right? Ukraine's President Vladimir Zelensky declared the U.S. security guarantee offer as historic ahead of talks with Trump and European leaders on Monday, which that's today, right? Yeah, so this is Al Jazeera news. Al Jazeera says update. Says Trump says agreement underway for Putin Zelensky summit. U.S. President hosts Zelensky and European leaders at the White House 3 days after meeting Russia's Putin, right? So it's a Russian's president, but they put Putin. Okay, he can't get his propers. All right, okay. U.S. President Donald Trump. So they giving him his propers, huh? President Donald Trump has met with his Ukrainian counterpart Vladimir Zelensky and European leaders at the White House in Washington. Trump says he had a good meeting with the leaders and that the U.S. will be involved in security guarantees for Ukraine. He also called Vladimir Putin and had begun agreements for a meeting between Russia president and Zelensky, as well as a trilateral summit between the three men. Trilateral summit between the three men. Says before the summit, Trump urged Ukraine to abandon its ambition to join NATO. Right, so basically they're still part of NATO. It's like they're NATO, but they're not NATO. So you cannot join NATO at anything. You can't say you're an actual NATO member. And I guess Putin is hung up on that, them actually being a NATO member. But if they're offering them NATO-like security, ain't that basically them being NATO? Like, it doesn't make sense. I guess he just don't want them, he don't want it to be, he don't want to give them that, almost like a little kid, Yeah, you are, but you ain't that. So I ain't giving you the victory, or I'm not giving you the satisfaction of actually saying you're NATO, right? Okay. So he urged them to just forget the ambitions to join in NATO and its hope of regaining even Crimea. You ain't getting Crimea back for sure. With Ukraine, no, with which Russia seized in 2014, most of the world casts Russia's annexation of the peninsulas as illegal, right? The meeting came after Trump rolled out the red carpet for Putin at a summit in Alaska on Friday. So this is all. So they're not NATO, but you're NATO in a sense. You're supposed to get the NATO-like protection, right? But just not having the title of saying that you're NATO, right? But this all is going to lead to something, right? Right here, it says Trump calls Putin at White House summit, arranged talk with Zelensky. So like this is so-called super important for them, right? And mostly for Trump, right? Because his thing is he's trying to get the Nobel Peace Prize. Yeah. So this is the Hill, and it says Trump, very nice of Hillary, because this is Trump saying, very nice of Hillary Clinton to float him for Nobel Peace Prize, right? And it says, and that's basically Trump with Putin, Trump and Putin shaking hands, right? I was doing the summit that they said ahead of historic peace meeting, right? See, it's historic. See, President Trump expressed gratitude that former Secretary of State Hillary Clinton had floated him for a Nobel Peace Prize if he were able to successfully negotiate an end to the war between Russia and Ukraine. So technically, we just read it. He successfully done that, which they got a little bit more talks, but he successfully done it. Putin had already agreed. Yeah, you can give him NATO-like security, right? Which he already whooped your ass. So it's not a big deal. Like I'll whoop your ass again. So yeah, go ahead and give him the thing. He could never just claim he's NATO though. So he's so now he's not NATO, but he got the security as being NATO, as if he was NATO. So yeah, this thing is just about, at this point, for one of the things is Trump wants this Nobel Peace Prize, right? Yeah. So this is our 1 Thessalonians chapter 5, verse 1. It says the day of the Lord, see? And that's the time that we're coming in. That's the time that we're in, technically. The day of the Lord, the day of Yahweh, Bashem Yahushai, but of the times and seasons, brethren, ye have no need that I write unto you. Right? Well, the Bible's already written at this point. So, no, we have no need for him to write unto us. Why? Because the Bible's written at this point. Right? But not to mention, this was just a time period where he's saying, look, we know what's going on. Through the Spirit, we know where we're at in time. The Lord said, measure the time diligently in itself. So at this point, we know what time it is, right? At least you should. It's saying concerning the times and seasons, brothers, you have no need to have anything written to you. Right? For yourselves are fully aware, this one said fully aware, that the day of the Lord, the Adonai, which is Yahushai, right? The day of Yahushai, day of the Lord, so cometh as a thief in the night. Fully aware that the day of the Lord come like a thief in the night, right? Right? For when they shall say peace and safety, KJV, then shall sudden destruction cometh upon them as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape. And that's the time that we're coming in, man. Nobody's about to escape the day of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai, right? You're not going to offset prophecy by trying to make peace, trying to prevent World War III. By doing so, you're actually fulfilling prophecy, because the Lord knew that you were going to try to do this, right? You were going to try to make this peace. All while the meanwhile, you're selling military weapons, right? I wish I could find that video. Trump's talking about setting up the peace between Putin and Zelensky. Meanwhile, saying how that America's the greatest sellers of weapons. Well, if I sell weapons, I need there to be a war. What profit is it, or what is it necessary that you sell the greatest weapons in the world if there's no war, because you want all this peace? I mean, it makes no sense, right? While people are saying there is peace and safety, see, that's what they're trying to do, present to you, then sudden destruction will come upon them as labor pains come upon a pregnant woman, and they will not escape, right? And that's the time that you're living in. But ye, brethren, are not in darkness, that the day should overtake you as a thief, right? But you are not in darkness, brothers, for that day to surprise you as a thief, right? We're not going to get caught off. Man, we know what's up. We know about the war you're going to have, and you're going to end up having to draft a lot of people into this third world war, right? Matter of fact, Russia just attacked Ukraine right before the meeting, like an hour, 3 hours, something just before the meeting, right? Yeah, that's what I said. This is the New York Times said Russia attack kills 14 in Ukraine hours before Zelensky visit White House. Right? This is what they're saying. Yeah, so this is I think this is Reuters. Yeah, Reuters News. Yeah, it's Reuters. This is Russia attacked on Ukraine, killed 10. The other one said 14, so maybe that was an updated 10 ahead of Trump and Luzinski's meeting, right? Yeah, so I'm here, right here in the blue letter. Same verse right here. I'm just going to the transliteration, see transliterate, so we can see what it is in the give us a little more understanding in that peace and safety. So they say peace and safety, then what? Sudden destruction, right? All right.
Strong's G 1515. Irene.
Yes, it's a state of national tranquility, an exemption from the rage or havoc of war. Peace between individuals, right? Harmony. What is this? Concord. Yeah, one accord. Concord. One accord. One concord. Yeah, safety, security, safety, prosperity, facility because of peace and harmony, make and keep things safe. Prosperous. Okay, yeah. So basically, the main thing is what from war, right? Saying that you're gonna be okay from war. Yeah. So it's AI overview. The Khazarian Empire employed several symbols, with the most prominent being the bidents and tridents, which were often the Tomgans clan or family emblems by the ruling families, and symbols associated with the Khazars, right? And then they say they have several different things that represent the Khazars. See, and this is one of their seals for the Khazars, which also who uses that, right? So most likely that's definitely not the Star of David, right? Right. The trident and the bident, right? The bident and the trident. Let's see if we can. That's basically it right there. Yeah, and guess who uses that same symbol? See, that's the exact same symbol that was on the coin for the Khazars, right? Showing you that, right? It's basically the same image with the guy with the holding the cross and the thing. That's for the Khazars, and as you can see, look, the trident, Ukraine's trident, Ukraine. But when we was looking, it said here, it said it was for the, what was that? Oh, it didn't want to give me back to that. Okay. Oh, yeah, there you go. See? The exact same. Tried that they have for Ukraine. Well, they basically pretty much showing you that. Yeah, see? This was supposed to be for the Khazars. But they're showing you that Ukraine, which are the so-called, yeah, Jew. Yeah. Yeah, showing that this Judaism, right? They're making it up. See? So we know that has nothing to do with the Star of David, and then even the Ukraine uses that same mark to this day. Yeah, so you can see that the so-called the Khazars, which I guess they're embracing that. Oh yeah, well these are people that of the Judaism, and they're trying, because after Arthur Koestler said that they're basically, in order for them to be, there would have to be 13 tribes, and there's no 13 tribes, right? Even Dan is not even in there, so there's no 13 tribes, right? So so it says Jeremiah chapter 49 and 20. Right? Because if there would be a 13 tribe, it would have been Dan. But Dan is not on there. The Lord, Yahushai, when he spoke to John, he didn't mention Dan for whatever reason. Right? And that ain't none of our business. That's the Most High's business. So there's only 12 tribes. It says, therefore, hear the counsel of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahushai, Bahasham Rakakwadash, that he have taken against Edom. See? And this whole thing is them, because Russia is a bunch of Edomites also, right? There's a lot of Edomites over there, right? They may be a different breed of Edomite, and they're not as bad, but they're still Edomites, man. At the end of the day, they're the devil that the Bible speaks of also. So all this summit meeting, them having a meeting, it's really about coming against the Israelites when they're doing that, right? Let's have this peace. So it gives them time that they can have this war on the shores of America, right? And not to mention, that this could be that thing where, because understanding that, because the beloved elder, Malcolm from Chicago, when I watched his video, he showed that same symbol was from the Khazars that Ukraine used. I'm like, that makes sense. So when you look at this and it says against Edom, and he purposed that his purposes that he purposed, right? This is all set up. The Lord told the end from the beginning. This is all he purposed this to be purposed, right? To actually happen against the habitations of Teman. And who's been pouring the most money into the Ukraine war, that they basically bankrupt their entire country, pretty much? Temanites, Germany, right? That's because a lot of them small hatters are in Germany also, right? It says, surely the least of the flock, right? So now you're looking at Ukraine, because we always look at, Israel, right? Because we know the smallholders are there, right? We always look as just Israel, but this is like another piece to the puzzle of how the least of the flock is going to draw them out, right? You know what I mean? It's the Lord is multi-layer, right? It's not, I'm saying, when you think you know the Lord, you don't know, right? That's why we're constantly learning as we grow. But and as we see the Lord said He's multi-layer. So it's showing that these devils are actually Amalek too. And Teman has been pouring in the most money into that, right? Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely He shall make their habitation desolate with them, right? Hey, Ukraine's habitation is what? It's desolate, ain't it? Freaking Putin came in there and wiped that whole thing. It ain't looking too good for Ukraine, right? So this so-called peace deal and this and that, so on and so forth, maybe a way they trying to offset prophecy, or or whatever they think they're doing, but they're not. You're not going to offset prophecy. There ain't going to be any peace, right? Because the Lord's going to draw you out. You're all going to get drawn out. And the earth is moved at the noise of their fall, right? And that's America. Babylon the Great is going to fall because hypersonic, intercontinental, ballistic missiles are going to hit this place. At the cry, the noise thereof was heard in the Red Sea, right? So you're going to be able to hear America fall all the way from the Atlantic through all the whole Atlantic all the way to the Red Sea. You're going to hear of it. Not to mention, hey, everything is all internet and this and that and drones, and you can videotape it. You got satellites and everything that could see and videotape it, and people are gonna, see it through video or on their phone, right? Behold, He shall come up and fly as the eagle, and spread His wings over Basra, right? That's talking about Yahweh Shai, man, and that flying mountain, right? Which Dabu 7 said that there's this interstellar object that at one point they said it was 7 miles across, and now the new updates are saying that it's 12 miles across, and it's flying, and it looks like intelligence, right? It ain't just something floating in space, even though they was initially trying to say that it's a meteor, but it don't have any tail. And before that, they had the Muamua, which means scout. So we're living in some interesting time, and we got to see how Esau is going to try to play this out, right? He may know it's the Lord, but he may try to deceive the people. Which that's his job, bro. He's gonna try to throw out some type of deception, whether if it's the Lord or not. He's gonna throw out some deception because we know that we're in that time. His time is cut short. He's got but a short time, and so Yahweh Shai is gonna come. He's gonna spread that flying mountain over this place, Basra, and even over the Middle East, right? Over the Middle East, the Middle East and America, all the places where the Edomites are at, because you're gonna know it's gonna be punishment time, judgment time. spread out his wings over Basra, and at that day shall the hearts of the mighty men of Edom, right? Yeah, be as the hearts of women in her pains, right? Second Ezra 13. They shall be afraid, but yet there's fight, right? And it says, Jeremiah 50:45. Therefore hear ye the counsel of Yahweh, Bahasham Yahweh Shai, that he have taken against Babylon, which that's America, right? So the Lord has with all you Edomites, right? Whether you're in Russia, Australia, wherever you Edomites are at, the Lord has beef with all of you. But the main ultimate hatred that he has is for that sinful kingdom, which is Babylon the Great, which is America. Spiritually Sodom, spiritually Egypt, which is spiritually Nineveh, Syria. Think of all the different things, because the Lord words in different ways, but it's the merchant city. It's all these different places that that the Lord shows the characteristics of this place that must be destroyed, man. Sodom and Gomorrah, that's this place, man. This place has to be destroyed. That's this place, Babylon the Great, the daughter of Babylon, and the Lord's taken up, and then here it is, against Babylon, his purposes that he purposed against the land of the Chaldeans, all this witchcraft. This place got to go. Surely the least of the flock shall draw them out. Surely he shall make their habitations desolate with them at the noise of the taking of Babylon, and the earth is moved, and the cry is heard amongst the nations, right? Yes, this is Revelation chapter 17, verse 15. And he saith unto me, the waters which thou sawest were where the whore setteth are peoples and multitudes and nations and tongues. So that's pretty much what Trump did. He's coming up as this world leader, this top person, and they say, hey, I'm the president of the United States. I'm gonna come as an ambassador, as a peacemaker, and his whole thing is to try to get this Nobel Peace Prize. So then, like I said, this might just be a thing between the elite, because it's weird that Putin wasn't having none of this thing. Like, he didn't even come out during the time of the CV-19, which he was afraid that they would assassinate him or try to get him, to come down, be diagnosed with something, right? So he hardly ever came out. They say he restricted himself in case they hired some inside guy to take him out. So he stayed secluded. But all of a sudden he pops out, and let's do a deal and talk with what you call him, and you could have that. Meanwhile, even Hillary comes out and says, oh yeah, I'll give him the Nobel Peace Prize if he can come up with some type of solution. So with this is basically he came up with some solution, so that must be what may happen. He may get the Nobel Peace Prize. And then the 10 horns which thou sawest upon the beast, these shall hate the whore. But see, in the meanwhile, in between while, prophecy is still happening, right? And these the European nations that you just had a meeting with today, right along with Zelensky, they all hate you, and they're gonna hate you. If they don't hate you now, they're gonna hate you more in a little bit, right? Pretty soon, right? She'll hate the whore, and she'll make her desolate and naked, and she'll eat her flesh, her flesh, and burn her with fire. Yeah, man. That's gonna displace Babylon the Great, America, right? It's place of Sodom and Gomorrah, Egypt, Assyria, Nineveh. This place of great future judgment that will have no mercy. The place of these Edomites, one of the places. Yeah, see, and America's a place that stems off from Europe, right? But even with that, even them stemming off from Europe, what it says, Jeremiah 50:12 says, your mother, right, which comes from Europe, which is England, you stem off from England, your mother shall be sore confounded, right? And that's this whole switcheroo, switching over to the digital coin, the beef with Russia, right? Because they used to get cheap gas and things that made their living easier and affordable. But the switching of things, crashing the dollars, and they're not just going to crash the dollars here in America. They're going to crash all the dollars in Russia, China, Europe, around the world. Every nation is crashing their dollar, but they're giving you this big ass thing like, oh my God, the dollar, the American. It's not just going to be the American dollar. It's going to be every dollar is going to crash, so they can switch the entire world over to the digital system. But they're going to find out it's not going to be beneficial for them in that way. Now, I know the elite feel like they'll be good, but even then, it's not going to be what they think. And because of that, it's going to build up hatred. So even your mother shall be sore afraid, sore confounded, right? Because things ain't going to go the way they thought. And it's going to make everything uncomfortable, basically. Let's just say it that way. I'll just say it that way. She that bear you shall be ashamed, right? They're going to be ashamed of this place. Dang, you told us the Israelites would never wake up. You told us if we did this, if we switched over to the digital thing, we'll have them in slavery forever and everything will be good and we wouldn't, nothing's bad going to happen. Everything's going to be good, right? Behold, the hindermost of the nations. So what's the hindermost of the nation? That's America. It's the last nation that ever came into fruition. You're at the other end of the world. You're the hinder. You're the last one. You're the end of every nation. So the hindermost of the nations shall be wilderness, right? So all them ICBM missiles, they're gonna burn you with fire. They're gonna be pissed off at you. They're gonna hate the whore. That's America. Oh, that's another word for America too. The whore. It says a dry land and a desert, right? That's what's going to happen to this place. Because of the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Yahushai said, there ain't no escaping this war. Ain't no way you're going to make peace and that just be it, right? Something's going to happen. It's going to cook up, and which Putin already showed you right before the meeting. He attacked Ukraine, right? So it ain't a big deal, right? So you might have a little bit of peace, but something's going to happen, right? And the least of the flock is going to draw you out, right? At the end of the day. Shall not shall not be inhabited, Salakia. Because of the wrath of Yahweh Bashem Shai, it shall not be inhabited, but it shall be wholly desolate. Every one that goeth by Babylon, which is America, daughter of Babylon, shall be astonished and hiss at all her plagues. Put yourselves array against Babylon. See? Round about, all ye that bend the bow. Shoot at her. Spare no arrows. Right? So, what do they say Russia has? 5,000 missiles or something like that. And I think China has like a 1,000 or something. I forgot the amount. But all those that have nuclear capability, they all have to shoot their missiles at America, at Babylon the Great. See, with all this peace, and you're stepping up, and they're giving you these accolades, and you know, even if you get the Nobel Peace Prize, what is it going to amount to? To nothing, right? Because they're going to sweat, spare no arrows, for she have sinned against Yahweh, and that's this place, man. You have sinned against Yahweh, Bashem Yahweh Shai. Shout against her round about. She, that whore. Who's the she? That whore. She have given her hand. When it's a shout against her round about. She have given her hand. Her foundations are fallen. Her walls are thrown down. For it is the vengeance of Yahweh Bashem Yahweh Shai. Take vengeance upon her, that whore that the Lord's talking about. Yeah. As she have done, do unto her, right? She went around the world. America went around the world, you know, robbing the entire world, right? Getting the oil, the uranium, the vibranium, the iranium, the whatever, man, out of the world. Slaves. The souls of men, right? Ultimately, through the charagma, that's what they're going to do. They're going to push forth the charagma throughout the entire world. But something's going to take place. Cut off the sword from Babylon, and him that handleth the sickle, right? Which they're already doing that now, right? Famine is about to take hold of this place. That handleth the sickle in the time of harvest, for fear of the oppressing sword, right? Because that's what Esau's doing. He's coming down to oppress. He's coming down with great wrath, knowing he had but a short time. He's being that oppressing sword, right? Right? And he did that to the entire world, right? But ultimately to you so-called Black, Hispanic, and Native Indians, right? But the Lord is going to allow these other nations to be upset with this place and judge it. The oppressing sword, they shall turn every one to his people, and they shall flee every one to his own land. Hey, man. So, call Loyum, Yahweh, Bahasham, Yahweh Shai, Bahasham, Rachach Kodash. Double honor to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone who rule well and do well, to the apostles, bishops in Connecticut, the bishops, the preachers, the teachers, the evangelists, and the four winds, preaching in truth and sincerity, risking your lives more now than ever, the hopeful elect, Shalom, to the Israelite foreigners who phenotype may look like another nation, but bloodline goes back to Israel through your father and have come back to the fold. Shalom, to you sisters, you Akhwathium, who listen and learn under your husband, which is your spiritual leader, with meekness and with silence, and above all, Kwam Yasharallah.